All right, let's throw in a little bit of information. I looked up an image of the pyramid of Khafre on the internet so that we could have a sketch that was a legit sketch. So the original height of the pyramid of Khafre, located next to the Great Pyramid, was about 471 feet. What length are they talking about there? What they're talking about is from this straight down to the center. And if we could actually, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to say, what does it look like if we were the uh, inside sides there, right? You'd get a side like that. You'd get a side like that. And of course you'd have when I say sides, what I mean is edges, and you would have that edge running up the back, okay? So you've got this, and forgive me if it doesn't look super neat, but we've got this then three-dimensional boxed out image of the uh, base of this thing, okay? Say it more like that. Okay, so this being the case, if we were to then draw a perfectly vertical line straight down, I'll do that in pink, from the top right there to the center, so that we formed a right triangle there with the base, then we would have a height of 471 feet. Now, each side of a square base is about 708. So this right here can label that as 708 feet. Okay, what is the lateral area? Well, when we're finding the lateral area, we need the perimeter, which we can find easily by 708 times 4, because there's 4 sides. But what we really want to do is we want to be forming this right triangle here, which I'm going to draw another length out here from that point right there, okay? That forms a right angle, and actually let me erase that part of the right angle and let me write it right there, a little better, that. And then what we're looking for is this slant height along the front edge of this thing from the top down to there. And if you can see that triangle that we formed, I'm going to draw it right here. Okay, we've got a right angle in there, and we know that the height is 471, and I'm going to write it in as 471 feet. But we also know this length along here. This whole side is 708, and this is going to be exactly half of 708. The whole side is, and that drops straight down into the center. So this is going to be half of 708. Half of 700 is 350, and half of 8 is 4. So that's going to be 354 for our purposes, okay? Not for our purposes, it is. It is for anybody's purposes, okay? 354 feet from that center out to the edge. Now, how do we find the hypotenuse length here, which is going to be our slant height? What we're going to have to do, 471 squared plus 354 squared, and that will give us c squared. Now, let's just do this. Let's just put a square root symbol around it and make that just be equal to c, the length we're looking for, because we can type that into our calculator straight away, saying the square root of 471 squared plus 354 squared, and that spits out 589.200. That's close enough for our purposes. 589.2. And of course, it's the same units, feet. Now, since we have the slant height, we can then say, okay, I'm going to draw a line down here to kind of close this off from this. And I'm going to do our calculations down here. So we're going to say our formula is for the lateral area is 1/2 perimeter times slant height. And 1/2 then perimeter is 708 on one side. So 708 times 4 is 2832. 2832. And then the slant height we just figured out was 589.2. Okay? And it says to the nearest square foot, what's the lateral area? So I'm going to multiply all this on my calculator and then round it off. So we say 0.5 times 2832 times 589.2. And we get 834,000. Let me write it. Approximately equal to, because we're rounding, 834,307. It's 0.2 after that, and so that rounds to just 307. And it is feet squared. And I'm just going to verify that this is the correct answer for number 15. My answer page, 834,308. What did we do wrong? Okay. Our mistake is that I didn't use exactly this. I didn't use exactly this. So I'm going to do, for here, let's change this. Okay, I'm not satisfied with my answer. It doesn't match with the book. So I'm going to erase this, which was our rounded hypotenuse length, that lateral surface length. And I'm going to say that's exactly equal to the square root of, let's write it. Sorry, working with multiple devices here right now. The square root of whatever we get when we do 471 squared plus 354 squared. And we get the square root of 347,157. I kind of suspected I knew I was rounding off early, and I wondered whether that would come back to bite me, and it did. Okay, so we're going to use that here as our slant height. Okay, times the square root of 347,157. Okay, now when I type into my calculator, 1/2 times 2832 times the square root of 347,157. Oops. 347,157. And I hit equals. I get 834,307.6. So even that, remember when I said it was 0.200? Everything that I rounded off after that 0.2, the 00 whatever, that ended up getting multiplied by such a big number that it actually mattered. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say, I'm going to erase what we've got here as that 07, and I'm going to write in, we should actually have 834,308 feet squared. And that was because I rounded too early, so careful with that. Okay, that's it. Hope that made sense.